What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews. And today I'll be reviewing Redwood Empire Grizzly Beast. All right, so before we get into this, just real quick, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, dislike, whatever, but just make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. More than 50% of my viewers are not subscribed yet. So I do get regular views, it's just getting them subs. So this is probably the first time I've ever actually announced it at the beginning of a video, just, you know, trying to push them subscribership up a little bit. And I was thinking, right before I sat down and started recording, I was thinking, I just realized I was wearing a Giants shirt. And I'm a big Giants fan. I'm from New York originally, and I was just at the Giants game this past Sunday in Las Vegas. I was in Vegas for the Giants game, and just thinking about it, I'm like, I can't believe I wore this to sit down and review this. It just happened to be what I was wearing. But yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing loss to the Raiders, but it was fun. It's an experience to watch a game at that new stadium in Las Vegas. It's an awesome stadium. It's a great place to watch a game, and then just the Raider fans. I mean, you're gonna get it from the Raider fans. You're definitely gonna hear it, and they get into it. So that was really fun. You know, I thought it was gonna be different. In a negative way, but no, it was all positive vibes. But they do let you hear it, so that was fun. It's just too bad Daniel Jones out for the year, and it was just in that part it was really messed up. But other than that, it was fun, and it was a good experience. But anyways, back to the whiskey here. So if some of you have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I've reviewed all the core, pretty much the core lineup for the Redwood Empire. I've reviewed, the Lost Monarch, I can't remember what the rye is called, and there's another one too, but the Emerald Giant, the Lost Monarch, and then there's another one that I'm forgetting, but I've reviewed a Pipe Dream, that's the other one. So I've reviewed those three. One's a Burrye, one's a bourbon, and then one's a rye. They're all good. They're all really good. I think I prefer the rye the most. It's my favorite, the Emerald Giant. I feel like it has more character than the others, but the other ones are good too. They're just a little young. They're I believe they're age stated 3 years, or at least 3 years or 2 years or something like that. So they're not super old. And I was at the store, and then these are always sitting on the shelf, and I never got into this one here. So this is the Grizzly Beast. This is a straight bourbon whiskey, but this is the bottled and bond. So that's the difference between this one and the other ones. This one's a bottled and bond, and this one is aged 5 years. So bottled and bond has to be at least 4 years, but this one's 5 years. And the one thing I love about Redwood Empire is that they put everything on the label here. Everything you would need to know. Now these guys are coming out of Sonoma County, California, and I know they have been sourcing from MGP. I can't tell, the letters are so small and I'm kind of blind. I'm not sure if this one is from MGP, but I'm pretty sure it is. So they do source from MGP, but they put everything on here though. This one, distilling season, this is spring 2018, and bottling June 2023. And it tells you the lot size, the batch. This is batch 003, and then it has the mash bill on here. So everything you would want to know pretty much is on here. This is 68% corn, 20% rye, 5% wheat, 5% barley, and 2% triticale. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't even know what that is, actually. I should have looked that up before I started recording. But yeah, so they put everything on here that you would need to know. So I'm pretty excited to get into this one, just because I've seen it on the shelf and I've heard decent things about it, but I never really got into it. So and I wasn't expecting too much, just because, like I said, while I do enjoy those other ones that I mentioned, they taste like you get that youth in the whiskey. So This one's 5 years old, so I'm still expecting to get some youth out of here, but let's get into it. So on the nose, I'm not getting too much youth. There's nothing sharp or off-putting on here on the nose. It's weird because it is kind of bright on the nose though. It's weird, it's like bright, but then it's not. The thing that jumps out right away, which I was trying to put my finger on, what is that note? And I think it's almost a butterscotch, but not quite, but that's what I'm gonna go with, a butterscotch note. There's apple. There's honey. There's a decent amount of rice spice. Cinnamon. Yeah, there's a decent amount of sweetness on here. I can't say there's no too much oak that I can like pick out where it really stands out. But yeah, that butterscotch, cinnamon, rice spice, honey, and a slight like caramel note. The caramel note is in there too. So yeah, on the nose, it smells good. I can't pick out any youth that's really like jumping out of the glass. But there's also, like I said, I didn't really get too much oak either. So on the nose, it's pleasant. It's not off-putting. It's decent. It's not anything to write home about, but it's not definitely not bad. So good start. Let's get into the palate. Cheers. On the palate, everything that I pretty much picked up on the nose transferred to the palate, which is a plus. I feel like on the palate, I do pick up a little bit more youth on this first sip, where I want to say it's a little bit like of that sharpness of the alcohol. Just in the front part of the palate where it kind of stood out a little bit, front to the middle palate, but then it went away. So I think on the second sip, it'll probably be, dissipate a little bit. But yeah, that butterscotch note, which I'm saying butterscotch, but I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but I'm going to go with butterscotch, like I said. But that honey, caramel, and then a good amount of spice on there, cinnamon, definitely the baking spices coming through. And then the finish, it's about a medium short finish. It doesn't like linger or anything like that, but it doesn't like fall off a cliff like right away where you can't really get the flavors to last long. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a long finish or even a medium. I would say it leans more towards medium short. But let's go for the second sip. More of the same, except that youth note that I was getting on the first sip didn't really come through on the second sip. So I think I just needed to acclimate a little bit, but I feel like it's enough to mention to where it stood out enough for me to mention that maybe like on the first sip when you try this, that youth note might come out a little bit on the first sip, but the second sip was much better as far as the youth in the whiskey coming out. But yeah, second sip, much better. By the way, this one is, to me, even looking at the bottle and the glass, it's a little darker than the other ones. If I would have, I should have pulled out the bottles. I have them back here, but I should have pulled out the bottles. But yeah, I feel like the color is a little bit darker than the other bottles. So and I'm sure that's from the slight, 2 years or year extra age for this bottled and bond here. But yeah, overall, this is not anything like special, but it's definitely a step up from the other ones in my opinion. Now, some of you guys might disagree with me on there. I know there's a lot of fans of that Lost Monarch, and I do enjoy that one, but Yeah, I feel like this one, it has more character. It stands out a little more. I feel like there's more going on in this one than the other ones. But yeah, I mean, it's just like personal preference. I feel like I'm glad I picked this one up. I passed it so many times on the shelf and I never picked it up. These Redwood Empires are always sitting on the shelf or over here in New Mexico. But yeah, I feel like I really enjoy this one. I feel like it, like I said, like it offers more than the other ones, and it's super enjoyable. Now, is it something that you should go out of your way to buy or like hunt it down? I don't think so. You know, it's decent. It's average, I would say, but it's not. It's definitely not bad, and it's definitely not like bottom shelf stuff. I feel like it's good for what it is. So, as far as my final score, I'm gonna give this B minus. You know, it's not great, but it's not, definitely not bad. It's good. It's good, and I enjoy it. I enjoy sipping on it. And there you have it. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and keep it legit, and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.